what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 8 road signs I only saw after moving to America. There's only so many road signs you can get, right? But I guess with the US, one that can stick out, or one that sticks out in my head is turning left on a red light. Because that's just not a thing in the UK. I assume in the US you may have signs for that type of thing. Although maybe not, maybe it's just a thing that people on the road in the US just know that they can do on certain turns, etc. But we're going to check this out and see some of these signs, because maybe I've seen some of them in GTA, for example, because I do occasionally play that game and I used to play it a lot, as most people my age or younger do, or older. Like, I'm not gonna discriminate, but yeah, I assume maybe some of those I would have seen playing GTA and stuff. But we're going to jump into this and see. Hopefully, going to enjoy. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see reactions that I can't post to YouTube. Music reactions, movie reactions, TV series reactions, all different kinds of things. The links are there. But let's see these road signs and I guess, yeah, see what they're for and if they're things that I've seen before.
Look at the shield. It's almost as American as Captain America, who I've just realised also has a shield. Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to road signs. Even as somebody who doesn't myself drive, I've always taken a shine to road signs. Like most children, I used to while away the hours sitting in my bedroom sketching stop signs. That was just me. Thankfully, after a while, I did take that sign's advice. But after moving to the United States, even as a long-time passenger, I noticed there were a lot of road signs that we don't have back in the UK. Ironically, with almost exactly the same design, stop wasn't one of them. And while there were other road signs that were quite familiar, there were some that made me go, what? Huh? Which you don't really need when you're taking driving lessons. It's partly the reason I never passed the test. Anyway, without further ado, here are 8 road signs I only encountered after moving to America.
Here we go. No turn on red.
Ah yes, the good old no turn on red sign. And
so I guess in the US you don't have a turn on red, you have a no turn. So if there's not that sign, then that's when you can turn. So basically the opposite of what I was asking about. Makes sense?
If you're American, you might be wondering, oh, Lawrence, you mean you don't have these in the UK? Does this mean that people are constantly turning on red with no consequences? No, it means that turning on red is illegal in the UK. But for my British viewers who might be a little bit confused, those no turn on red signs are only used at specific crossroads. In the absence of them, cars can absolutely turn on red, so imagine my surprise when I discovered this for the first time. I'm standing at the crosswalk waiting for the traffic light to turn red. I cross the road. My expectation in doing so is that the cars that are just immediately round the corner will stay put with their turn signal going tick, tock, tick, tock. Is Lawrence on TikTok? Yes, I've just signed up. Become my first follower. But instead, the car starts inching round and not knowing what to do. I backed up onto the pavement and the cars just kept going, and I looked like an idiot.
I feel you, man. I feel you. What the hell does yield mean? I don't actually know what this sign even means.
In the United States, the yield sign is an important sign. If 2 drivers are merging onto the same road, it's a good idea for one of them to yield
just to slow down
the right of way, so as to not cause an accident. And you might be thinking, oh, you don't have this sign in Britain, Lawrence. How come the cars don't crash? And the answer is our cars are much smaller, so the odds of crashing are reduced. But also, we sort of do have that sign. It even looks like your sign, but it's not called yield. It's called give way.
Okay.
And so there you have it, I suppose. There's an example of a road sign that I only encountered after moving to America because it was named different. Another example is this.
Divided highway.
I'll be honest, this one was pretty straightforward. I already knew that the word highway was basically another word for motorway, which is what we use in Britain, and that the word divided indicated 2 lines of highway with something in the middle, like a median or a quaint picnic area. Nonetheless, this didn't stop it from standing out as being something different from what I would have seen in Britain. Firstly, we don't call it a divided highway, but a dual carriageway. And weirdly, if there is one, I don't remember what the sign looks like that indicates a dual carriageway.
I don't know.
But I do remember the one that indicated the end of a dual carriageway because for some reason it had a church on it. And while we're on the subject of religion, that brings us on to this.
I guess this is a sign saying be careful, there's horses riding. Is this maybe in like, oh, this is going to be such a stupid guess, Amish communities? I'm not just saying it's only Amish communities that use horses, because it could be anyone. So I guess these could just be in areas where horses are just in use, but maybe they're more prominent in Amish communities, but I don't know.
Ooh, confusion. Horses, carriages, religion. How does this all tie together? Surely horses and carriages are how British people still get to school. Well, despite what Victorian
It's
period
not.
dramas may have you believe, we've since embraced buses. But in the United States, there's one particular community where you're likely to see a road
I actually think I was cooking there. I think this is exactly what it is.
sign for a horse-drawn vehicle. The Amish community.
Amish.
Several years
Amish, potato.
years ago, the wife and I took a visit up to Shipshawana in Indiana, and it was like a completely different world just because of the communal resistance to technology. And one element of that was the horse-drawn buggies. I mean, that was the most common mode of vehicle in the town. We looked like the weird ones driving around in our Oldsmobile, but then who doesn't? And as it turns out, horses are not the only non-human animal to get their own sign.
Oh, okay, this is a California sign if I've ever seen one. I'm pretty certain I have seen this one in GTA. I could be waffling here, but I'm pretty sure I have.
The thing that they don't tell you about bears is that they're able to blend into their natural surroundings, kind of like how I do with signs warning me of their presence. And so seeing that sign, as I believe I may have done in the state of Idaho, where I also read a local news story about a bear that infiltrated a chicken coop, when I see that sign, I reach for the child lock. Does anybody else do that? It can't just be me. Because I've seen the 1997 Anthony Hopkins film The Edge. You know, I don't want any part of that. In fact, if I see a grizzly bear coming anywhere close to my car, firstly, I'll reach for the Skittles, and secondly, I might take one of these.
Why the Skittles?
So listen, here are my two favourite facts about the word detour. Firstly, and this is truly amazing, you can rearrange all of the letters to get the word routed. And yep, I have lost hours of sleep over that fact. And secondly, it's a word that's used on American road signage when, say, there's construction work ahead and they want you to go a different route. They rerouted you. And no, before you ask, in Britain we don't just drive through the construction, except for that one time in Sheffield in 1997. But, you know, I was late for the football match. What are you going to do? In fact, like with yield and give way, we do have a sign for this. It's similar, but not the same. If anything, I actually blend in better with the UK version, which features the word diversion instead of detour.
Historic. Okay, so these are just like the signs you get for specific roads, isn't it? You got like California US 80, but then you have like 70. You have all numbers, don't you? Route 80. So this is just called Route 80, right? This actual road would be called Route 80, I'm pretty sure.
It's often said that the biggest difference between Britain and America is that Americans think 100 years is a long time and the British think 100 miles is a long way. But what if you could combine these two perspectives into historic roads? Well, Britain of course has no shortage of those, just ask the Romans. But from memory, it does have a shortage of standardized road signs to denote them. In the US, famously, the opposite is true. Even though it was officially removed from the United States highway system in 1985, Route 66 is arguably the most famous of its kind. And living, as I do, in Chicago, where the so-called Mother Road began, I am happily familiar with the road sign that stands on it, but also the tourists. Sadly, after years of improvements and realignments, it would be replaced by new sections of the Interstate highway system, which brings us on very neatly to this.
Interstate 1.
Now, with all of the attention that I give to UK buses and train services, you could be forgiven for thinking we don't have an interconnected motorway system, but we do. It's just that all those years ago when I was a child, I never felt this deep compulsion to sketch the signs that denoted the motorway number because they're quite boring.
It's true, like the US ones, you see them, that you can just, like, I've seen those signs before and you can just, I don't know, they're more memorable or whatever. They stand out more. Maybe they're just trying to be bigger so it's just bolder for the people driving on them, or there's an actual reason. Like, they're just trying to, I don't know, it just makes the route seem a bit more, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It just stands out more, pretty much. Like, I didn't even know, is this even a sign in the UK? I don't know. I assume it probably is for the A38, but I couldn't tell you if this is the sign or not.
I mean, they sort of look like license plates. And please, Uncle Toby, don't use this as carte blanche to go and put that to the test. What can I say? They don't inspire me. Whereas, just look at the absolute majesty of an interstate highway sign.
The sign just looks American, doesn't it? Like, it's all the colours, so that Is that on purpose? It could be. I guess it is probably part of it. It just looks American.
I mean, look at the shield. It's almost as American as Captain America, who I've just
So
realised
true.
also has a shield. And so if we consider the fact that the highway system looks like the human circulatory system, then the shields, being defenders, are antibody. I don't know where I'm going with this. I like the shields. Let me know in the comments if you've driven in both countries and whether or not these road signs were an eye-opener.
I just want to see road sign. Oh, there's road signs only in the UK. Only. Oh, I'm so bad at typing, man. It's under pressure, all right. See, this is, I guess, just to say this is a bus and bike only roads. So in the UK, I don't know if this is in the US, which is why I'm going to try and explain it, because maybe it is. I assume it probably isn't, though. You have normal roads, and then you have, like, on the side, you have, like, a road only for buses or for cyclists, because they try and promote, I guess, cyclists' routes. So they'll have roads. It's on the side of a road next to a road where there's cars on it, but it's just for cyclists and for buses. I mean, it literally says this. You can tell. I mean, I don't know why I have to explain it. You probably understand. Road closed, access only. I couldn't tell you what this one is. It's probably just traffic merging into another road. UK signs for highway code. This is a bump. Yeah, give way. There's ones for, like, children crossing the road. Oh my god. Children crossing road sign. I think there's one for that. Yeah, there you go. Stop, blah, blah, blah. School, yep. You know how it's, and there's like signs for, like, horses and stuff. Like, there is signs like that, but there you go. I guess these are sort of the differences. In Scotland, I got kicked out of changed priorities ahead. I thought the universe was sending me a message. Changed priorities. Fair enough. No idea if the sign says something different in the UK, but when I was a kid, the sign "Do not pass" confused the crap out of me. I was like, we are passing it. The sign is doing very little to stop us. My personal favourite: slow children at play. How about deer crossing? Trust me, deer cross anywhere they want. Yeah, it's not going to stop the deer. I guess it is just to stop the drivers from speeding as much, possibly, but just to be more wary of your surroundings. I mean, in that case, it makes sense because of how dangerous deers and moose are when crossing roads and all the fatalities that they cause colliding with cars. But yeah, this is a reaction to road signs in the US. Hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.